is Progress Women's Champion and will defend this title against Stephanie Mays at Tag Team Festival. She's also in the Femme Fatale tournament. Glad you found time for an interview, Rhio. Nice to have you here. How are you doing?
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm loving it. I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good too. Thank you. Yeah, and let's start. Since you haven't been to Germany that often, yeah, maybe our readers want to get to know you. So let's start with a more general question. How did you get into wrestling in the first place?
So I think I was similar to like a lot of people. I remember just it kind of being on the TV when I was like 9 years old, and like as soon as I saw it, I was like hooked because I'd never seen anything like it before. So obviously, like what's on the TV in the UK a lot is like football or
Hmm.
rugby. So then I'd never seen anything like wrestling. So then once I saw it, I was like, wow, this is amazing. I have to do it. But then like I think when you're a kid and stuff, you say these things and your parents are like, yeah, whatever. And then like a lot of schools are like, no, we don't take. I think like 14 was kind of the age at the time that the people were accepting like you have to be at least 14. So for years I'd kind of just thought about it, but it never happened. And then being a teenager, I just kind of drifted away from it a little bit. And then I think I was like 19 and I saw that there was a school in my city that was open. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to go along. So I'm gonna have to try it. I thought, at least let me try. Let me see what it's about. And then yeah, I've been hooked ever since.
Yeah, and you also have experience in karate and taekwondo, if I read it correctly. Did that help you with wrestling?
I think, yeah, I think like when you look at like any kind of martial arts, they're always quite helpful. When it comes to wrestling, I think it always just there is like a lot of transferable skills. So and now I look back, I wish I'd have kind of done judo more. But yeah, no, they like I feel like they just helped me. I already had like the discipline aspect. I feel like when it comes to training and stuff, because that was just taught so much in martial arts. So I do think that helped.
Do you still do martial arts or do you focus more on wrestling now?
Yeah, focus more on wrestling now. But I'm actually wanting to get back into it because I think part of me wants to do it just for like another fun way of fitness. I think
Hmm.
making fitness and cardio fun is like what has to be happening for me. I hate a treadmill or
Uh,
just bloody stairmaster or whatever. So I think I'd like
Understandable,
to.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just boring, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So I'd like to. I'd definitely like to maybe like Brazilian Jiu Jitsu or like Wing Chun, something like different. I think.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you were trained at the PCW wrestling school. Any people you would describe as particularly influential to your career?
Yeah, to be honest, I was trained by Bubblegum to start off with, and then Ashton Smith and Dean Allmark, and then Tony Storm trained me for like a short space of time, but enough to make impact. So yeah, I'd say all those people did really have like a lot of influence on me.
Um, yeah, in continental Europe, I'd say there are still very few women who start wrestling. It's a problem in Germany as well. The WXW women's title was recently discontinued.
Yeah.
Things are seemingly a bit different in the United Kingdom. Do you have any idea why? Or yeah.
I don't, to be honest. I don't know if it's maybe just we have more women at the minute that are within within wrestling, and I think like even I'm saying that even though now a lot of the training schools don't have a lot of women, in my
Okay.
opinion, that I've seen. So I think I don't know. It must be something that's across the board that women just aren't really looking at doing it. So I'm not sure why. Because I think when you look at European wrestling, I think that women at the minute, like they look like the kind of people that people would want to wrestle with. I don't feel like we have a strict kind of you look like a bikini model and that's it. So if you don't look like that, then
Mm.
don't bother. I feel like you've got so many different sizes and different types of women. So I feel like it's even just within women, it's very diverse. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm hoping that as women's wrestling does carry on to grow, that it might inspire more women to get involved. But I do think it is just a lack of women wanting to for whatever reason that might be.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about, the lack of women in wrestling. Do you think an all-women tournament like a Femme Fatale is particularly important to, get it in the right track?
Definitely. Yeah, I think women need to, like, maybe women that are watching wrestling need to see that there is this diversity of women. And I think when you've got a tournament, you've got more chance of seeing it instead of it being like a one match on a card, say, and you just see them two women. And I think if people might think, oh, if I don't look like them, then that's it. Where I think if you see a whole tournament, you're like, oh, you can look like this, you can look like this, you can, and you can have your various backgrounds. Because with wrestling, there's people who've had modeling backgrounds, who've had martial arts backgrounds, who's had no background, So I think when they start looking into the wrestlers themselves and finding like a key wrestler that they like and looking into them, they'll realize that you don't have to, you don't have to have been an athlete. You don't have to have a certain kind of look about you. It's so diverse. So
Yeah. We'll come to your wXw debut in a bit, but before we get to that, you already held many titles throughout your career. How much does it mean to you when a league, places such trust in you?
Do you know, it does mean a lot to me because I think, again, to be cards now are increasing the amount of women's matches that are on, like most places anyway, which is great. So I think to be the one that a promotion really does trust to influence essentially women and be the one that, like, the female fans in the crowd, whether no matter how young or old or whatever, can look to and go, oh, that's our person. And I think like there's that camaraderie of like, we want the women to succeed. So I think it's so important that champions realize that I think you inspire and influence more people than you realize. So I think when you're doing that, you need to have that in mind with everything you're doing when you're a champion. So the way you carry yourself and what you do in the ring, I think, needs to match everything on the outside. So I think it, for me, it is really important because that's them kind of saying to me, you're the person that we want to kind of do that. So, yeah.
Okay, cool. You fought a significant portion of your matches in the United Kingdom. Are there any ambitions to tour abroad, maybe Japan or the United States?
Yeah, so I've been to Japan twice with Tokyo Joshi Pro, and that's incredible. So like I'd love to go back to Japan again. I'll always do that. I'll always love to go to Japan. And then this year with Progress, we went to WrestleMania week in Philadelphia. So we wrestled part of the collective with GCW, and we did that, which was great as well. Like that was my first taste of America. And then I'm actually going to America for 5 weeks in November.
Cool.
So like I'm getting a bit more of a taste of America as well, which is going to be really exciting. But yeah, like I think because I've done so much in the UK, I'm very proud of what I've done. I don't think I'll ever be satisfied with it. I feel like there's always something more that I can do. But I am excited to try other countries now and, other continents and just try just to wrestle as many people from as many places.
Yeah, you said you want to achieve still more. What goals do you have for your career?
So, like, I think for me at the minute, like UK wise, I feel like I've held like the prominent championships, except the Rev Pro Undisputed British Women's Championship. So that's definitely on my mind. I want my ITW Women's Championship back. So to reclaim that, I mean, I'd love to I don't know if this is greedy, but you've got to have high goals, haven't you, in life? I'd love to hold all three. I'd love to be like the trifecta champion.
Okay.
The Rev Pro, Progress, and ICW Women's Championships would be that. Like I think that you're undeniable then, aren't you? So I think that's something in my mind that I'd like to do. But then also just to conquer the States and, like I say, maybe go for a championship in Japan as well. Like they're massive goals and eventually leading to being signed by a bigger company and then chasing their championships as well. That's the main goals.
Big goals, but yeah, I'm keeping my fingers crossed then.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's talk about Germany then a bit maybe. You already were active in Germany. I think a year and a half ago, you had 2 matches for Euphoria Wrestling. What memories do you have, of Germany?
That was a good one there because I remember the German fans being like brutal and they wanted blood. And I was like, okay, I see what we're doing here. I like it. That's my vibe. If let's go in there and smash each other about, right? That's the vibe I got from them is they wanted that. So that worked for me perfectly. They were loud and they had a great time. So do you know what? Like, I'm excited to come back to Germany now.
Yeah, and it will be your wXw debut. Yeah, what expectation do you have? Yeah, going into the weekend.
You know, it's a it's a big deal with, I think there's so much going on at the weekend with it. Like with wXw, they've got like the tag team thing. Like I'm excited to see some of the tag team matches as well because that I know that's going to be of high standard. So I'm excited to watch that and watch some of my friends in that as well. But then as well to be in the Femme Fatales like tournament, I'm very excited for that. To come in straight into a tournament, yes, that's a bit of me. And like at Progress, I've won two tournaments back to back. So, I feel like I've got good standing with tournaments. So I'm definitely very excited about that as well.
Yeah, well, so we're talking to the favorite one here, maybe.
Ah,
Um,
well.
have you ever already spoken with other talents about WXW? I know your opponent, Anita Vaughn, she's yeah becoming quite a regular, I'd say, already. So did you chat about WXW before?
Do you know what? We haven't actually, no, because I just think like I've kind of been in like Belgium or I've been in Spain quite a lot this year.
Mhm.
So and then she I know has been heavily, like you say, in WXW and in Germany. So I think we've just been at different parts, but she I'm excited because I've seen that she's been getting in there with the lads and fighting with all the men. So I'm like, yeah, man, get that, go on, girl. So I'm excited, but at the same time, it's like, no, I I'm in this to win. I'm not here to take part, and I'm not bothered. I'll win this tournament, and I'll happily challenge any of the men. I'll take their championship instead. I'm not bothered.
Yeah, that was actually my next question. The women in Germany, we talked about it, there aren't too many, so intergender wrestling at WXW is quite a thing. You already gained experience in that area too. What is the greatest challenge for you in intergender wrestling? What are the biggest difference, maybe?
Oh, I think it is like I feel like within when I'm wrestling women, for the most part, I'm usually either the same size or bigger. It's very rare that I wrestle women and I'm the smaller one by a lot. So I
Hmm.
think I'm used to having my feet planted firmly on the ground. I'm the one that's doing the lifting. I feel like for the most part, like shots wise, I'm a hard hitter, so I'm comfortable with that. But then when you get there with the men and they just throw you instantly, and I think, oh, okay, no, that's not. I'm not used to that. And then hitting just as hard, they want to win the match as well. So when they hit you and you think, okay, okay, I'm gonna have to definitely go in a more like going harder here. But I like the challenge. Like I've always liked the challenge. So I think when I'm wrestling the men, I'm like, come on, give me your best. Don't give me no like 50%. I want the best because that then I feel like I grow from that and I thrive under pressure. So that's what I want that.
Yeah, and you already told us you are a tournament specialist. Your Progress title opponent, Stephanie Mays, is taking part at the Tag Team Festival itself with Bobby Guns. Would that be a goal of yours maybe for the future? Being part of the Tag Team Festival?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I would love to do that. And I think I've got a few friends that would happily come into that with me. So, let's see what's gonna happen over the next couple of months. I'm definitely very interested in the tag tournament. So I'm more than happy to jump in there and do intergender tag teams or me and anybody. Well, let's get in there.
Okay, that sounds very cool. And that already brings me to my last two questions. First, where can fans find you on social media?
So on X/Twitter, and I always say X, but then I feel like it's just weird, isn't it? So
Yeah, it
Twitter,
sounds wrong.
X,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You can find me on Rio 2020, and then on Instagram it is Rio_wrestler.
All right. Last question then. What can fans expect from you at the Tech Team Festival? Anything you want to tell the German fans beforehand?
Just be ready for absolute dominance. Like I say, I don't come in here, I don't mess about. I don't look at this as a soft kind of thing. I love the fact that wrestling's a contact sport, and I am a heavy hitter. I'm expecting to be hit as hard as I hit, but I don't go easy on anyone. I don't go light, and I give my everything to every match I have. So, you know, don't be expecting like some light work from me. it feels like work for me, but I'm make everything hard work for everybody else. So
All right. So you heard it. Our favorite for femme fatale is Rio. Thank you very much, yeah, for having time for interview, and we're looking very much forward to seeing you in Germany.
oh, thank you very much. I'm very excited for it, and I can't wait for the weekend.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.